Chapter 091 Yanran returns to the ruins. Is the Pavilion Master injured? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Daoxuan never expected that the change he was looking forward to would be flying. Before he reached the sky control realm, wouldn't he be able to fly? That's all, asking is in vain. Chen Daoxuan waved his hand and stopped embarrassing Qiyun. After all, he seemed different from everyone else, at least, when others break through the Qi-Si realm, they will definitely not have the stars and universe in his Qi-Si. Qiyun on the side said nothing after seeing this. Although his mood calmed down a lot after a day, he still felt like a dream. He didn't even dare to continue practicing at this time, for fear of being unstable and going crazy. Chen Daoxuan, on the other hand, drank the enlightenment tea and looked up at the big sun in the sky. He couldn't help but secretly thought that the weather was good today. How about breaking through the Tongxuan realm by the way? After all, after breaking through to the sky control realm, he still had more than 109,000 system points in his hand, which was enough to break through to the next big realm. Ding, the host's great disciple Leng Yanran has broken through the 8th level of Tongxuan realm and is rewarded with 200 system points. Ding, the second disciple of the host, Li Yurong, has broken through the 6th level of Tongxuan realm, and will be rewarded with 200 system points. A prompt sounded suddenly in his mind, and Chen Daoxuan was slightly startled. Originally, when a disciple broke through to the Tongxuan realm, the system rewarded him with 100 years of cultivation and 100 system points, but now they are all replaced by system points, but there is not much difference. Ding. The host's great disciple Leng Yanran has broken through the 9th level of Tongxuan realm and is rewarded with 200 system points. Ding, the second disciple of the host, Li Yurong, has broken through the 7th level of Tongxuan realm, and will be rewarded with 200 system points. After a while, 2 more reminders sounded. Chen Daoxuan wanted to see the disciple's cultivation progress, but he felt that something was wrong. That's all. As a master, I am also afraid that my disciple's cultivation will go astray. To be on the safe side, let's take a look. This is all for the disciple's cultivation, without any selfish motives. Chen Dao. As soon as I thought about it, the scene in the Lingqi Palace appeared clearly in my mind. I saw that 2/3 of the specially prepared spiritual liquid in the pool had now been consumed, and the remaining spiritual liquid was only enough to barely cover the lower abdomens of the 2 people who were practicing cross-legged practice. Moreover, the remaining spiritual liquid was also being consumed rapidly. Being absorbed by the 2 of them crazily. Leng Yanran, in particular, is on the verge of breaking through the great realm at this time. As long as the bottleneck is broken, she can reach the realm of returning to ruins. Soon, the remaining spiritual fluid in the pool was consumed. Leng Yanran frowned and concentrated on running the chaos demon art. There was a faint evil aura all over her body, and the purple pattern formed by the innate charming bones on her lower abdomen flashed faintly. Li Yurong slowly opened his eyes and felt that he was at the 7th level of Tongxuan realm. He planned to talk to his senior sister in surprise, but found that his senior sister was making a breakthrough. He quickly covered his mouth with his hands, not daring to disturb her. Damn it, it's just the last bit, just a little bit closer. Leng Yanran was a little anxious. Now that the special spiritual liquid in the spiritual pool had been exhausted, she was still just a little short of breaking through the bottleneck of the ruins realm. Open your mouth. Just when Leng Yanran thought that her breakthrough would probably end in failure, a voice sounded in her mind. Master. Leng Yanran was slightly startled, but she didn't think too much and quickly opened her mouth according to the master's words. A pill appeared out of thin air in front of his red lips and was slowly put into Leng Yanran's mouth. As soon as the elixir was taken into the mouth, it turned into juice and flowed into the abdomen, and a majestic spiritual energy suddenly emerged in a sea of qi. Without thinking too much, Leng Yanran controlled the majestic sea of spiritual energy and rushed towards the bottleneck. Break. After a sweet drink, the bottleneck was shattered. Leng Yanran's whole aura has also undergone earth-shaking changes, and she has suddenly broken through to the 1st level of Guishu realm. As the realm breaks through, its succubus characteristics become more obvious. Thank you master. Leng Yanran slowly opened her eyes and said thank you, but she did not find her master. Only her junior sister in the hall was covering her mouth and looking at her. Although she was a junior sister, Leng Yanran still felt a little uncomfortable being looked at. Senior sister, you are so powerful, you have already returned to the ruins realm. But Yorong is also very powerful. He is now at the 7th level of Tongxuan realm. That when the Yorong saw her senior sister open her eyes, she let out a long sigh of relief. Just now, her senior sister had made a breakthrough. In order not to disturb her senior sister, she even held her breath. Well, Yorong is really amazing. Let's go and see master. Leng Yanran did not show a cold face to her junior sister like outsiders, but smiled and said, after hearing this, Li Yorong picked up the clothes he had left by the pool and planned to put them on, but suddenly I found that the senior sister walked towards a clothes rack, where there were many beautiful clothes. Senior sister, are these clothes suitable for you to wear? Li Yorong's eyes suddenly lit up with little stars. He threw his clothes away and got closer. The giant thing in front of her shook and swayed, almost making Leng Yanran faint. This, master prepared it according to my size. I wonder if junior sister can wear it. Leng Yanran looked at her junior sister and said with some uncertainty. Please, senior sister, give Yorong a set. Okay. Seeing his senior sister's hesitation, Li Yorong immediately begged her senior sister with an aggrieved look on his face. Hey, that's all. You pick a suit you like, but if you can't wear it, you can't rely on me. Also, tell master later and master will also prepare clothes for you. Seeing her junior sister's cute appearance, Leng Yanran couldn't bear to refuse, so she agreed with a slap on her forehead. Yeah. Senior sister is the best. At this time, outside the Tiandao Palace, there was a small pavilion. Chen Daoxuan dismissed the scene in Lingqi Palace from his mind. How could it be so big, bigger than I thought? Does this have something to do with the special physique? That's all, I don't think about it anymore. Chen Daoxuan couldn't help but feel a little hot when he thought of the scene just now. Too over the top. Hey, enlightenment tea, don't drink too much of this stuff, it will cause you to get too angry. But at the last moment, he spent 100 system points to exchange for a heaven-level elixir in the mall, and he helped Yanran break through to the ruins realm. Otherwise, this breakthrough might really end in failure. It seems that it was not easy for the Pavilion Master to defeat the heavenly tribulation yesterday. It should be that he suffered a lot of internal injuries. Qi Yun on the side saw that the Pavilion Master's expression was wrong. He was stunned for a moment, and soon figured out the cause and effect. It seems that the heavenly tribulation is not so easy to break up, and even the Pavilion Master suffered a backlash. Chapter 092 Bestowing Treasure to Yanran, the God-Killing Spear. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not long after, two figures walked out of the temple. Chen Daoxuan looked up and couldn't help but be slightly stunned. Leng Yanran wore a white dress and white silk on her two slender legs. Although only a small amount of skin was exposed, it still could not hide her innate charm. Even after breaking through to the ruins realm, her succubus characteristics became more obvious, and the effect of her innate charm was greatly enhanced. As for Li Yorong, after choosing for a long time, he chose a white Taoist robe, but even the loose Taoist robe could not cover her plumpness at all, a perfect angel's face and a devil's body. What stunned Chen Daoxuan was that Li Yorong wore black silk stockings under his white robe. A Taoist robe paired with black silk stockings is a real punishment. Chen Daoxuan couldn't help but secretly lamented that his two disciples were so annoying. Fortunately, within the scope of this heavenly Dao palace, even if he had evil fire born, it would dissipate quickly and not have much impact. He even doubted that if he went down the mountain in person, he would not be able to resist the temptation of Yanran's innate charm. The two of them came to the small pavilion respectfully and greeted their master in advance. Master, fortunately, my disciple has lived up to his command and has broken through to the return to ruins realm. After receiving the courtesy, Leng Yanran poured a cup of enlightenment tea for her master, and then excitedly told the news about her breakthrough, hoping to be praised by her master. Master, this disciple has also broken through 2 realms, and is now at the 7th level of Tongxuan realm. And after practicing the skills given by the master, the disciple feels that he can now kill a dragon with one punch, that when Li Yurong saw this, he excitedly talked about his improvement in cultivation. Yes, you too have improved a lot this time. Chen Daoxuan naturally knew the progress of the two's breakthrough, but he still rubbed their heads very happily, which made them feel satisfied. Now that you have broken through to the Return to Ruins realm, you should have a handy weapon. This magic weapon is called the God-Killing Spear. It suits you very well, so I gave it to you. Chen Daoxuan turned his hand and took out a long spear that was bright black and exuded a strong evil aura, and handed it to Leng Yanran. Isn't this a little too expensive? Leng Yanran looked at the God-Killing Spear. The thick evil aura emanating from it would have been impossible to touch if she hadn't practiced the Chaos Demon art. Even if an ordinary person comes into contact with the God-Killing Spear, the evil spirit on it will erode into the body, causing extreme pain. At the very least, it must be a heaven-level or even immortal-level magic weapon. You don't have to worry about this with me as a teacher, just take it if it's given to you. Upon seeing this, Chen Daoxuan couldn't help but chuckle and said. Seeing this, Leng Yanran no longer refused, bowed in front of Chen Daoxuan, and respectfully held the God-Killing Spear with both hands. As soon as she got it, Leng Yanran felt that this God-Killing Spear was tailor-made for her, and its strength would be improved at least several times or even dozens of times. With her current strength in the Return to Ruins realm, she can easily kill anyone in the Nirvana realm. Even when she encountered a stronger immeasurable realm, Leng Yanran was confident of fighting. But now, after getting the God-Killing Spear, she feels that she can even crush the strong men of the Infinite Realm, and she can still suppress them easily even after crossing two great realms. This is definitely not a heavenly magic weapon. This is a divine weapon. Disciple, thank you Master. Leng Yanran bowed deeply to her master, feeling moved beyond words. This magic weapon must have been specially prepared for her by the master. Where could she find such a good master? Without her master, she would have died long ago, but now she has become a terrifying genius who can suppress two great realms. All this depends not on anything else, but on Master. Master, what's your capacity? Has Master prepared a magic weapon for Yurong? Li Yurong, who was standing aside, saw his master rewarding his senior sister with a peerless magic weapon, and asked expectantly. Ahem, your cultivation is still shallow now, so you should focus on cultivating to break through to the Ruins realm. When you break through to the Guishu realm, I will also give you a magic weapon as my master. Chen Daoxuan cleared his throat and calmed down the excited Yurong. This magic weapon was not prepared by him in advance, but was a reward given by the system when Yanran broke through to the Ruins realm. Ding, the eldest disciple Leng Yanran has broken through the Return to Ruins realm. Reward, God-Killing Spear, Imitation, and 2,000 system points. Chen Daoxuan was shocked when he saw the prompt. What kind of magic weapon is the God-Killing Spear? That is the innate treasure that is regarded as the top magic weapon in the prehistoric world, and it is the weapon of demon ancestor Rahu. However, even if this God-Killing gun is an imitation, it still retains the characteristics of the God-Killing gun, killing people without causality. The level is far from being comparable to the immortal-level magic weapons in this world. Well, okay then. Then Master must prepare magic weapons for Yurong. Yurong will soon break through to the Return to Ruins realm. After hearing his master's words, Li Yurong secretly made up his mind to practice hard and break through to the Return to Ruins realm as soon as possible. As expected of the Pavilion Master, the magic weapons he took out are probably of the immortal level. That's right. After all, the Pavilion Master is a being who can even detonate heavenly catastrophes. His strength is comparable to that of an immortal. Only by using an immortal-level magic weapon can he be worthy of the status of Pavilion Master. Qi Yunzi on the side muttered secretly in fear, but these words were heard by Leng Yanran and Li Yurong, and both of them were a little confused. What kind of disaster? What nonsense are you talking about? Leng Yanran frowned slightly. Qi Yun had brought him up the mountain by himself, so he couldn't let his nonsense make the master unhappy. My Aunt D, I'm not talking nonsense. It's just that my two ants are practicing in retreat. I don't know. You don't know, if the master of the pavilion practices casually, the spiritual energy will gather into a river of spiritual liquid. It's so crazy. But that's all. After the master of the pavilion practiced, he even caused a catastrophe. As a child, I thought that the master of the pavilion was going to overcome the catastrophe and ascend. But guess what? The master of the pavilion just took the ruler and waved his hand, and the disaster exploded. Qi finally found someone to whom he could confide his shock. He danced and told them what he saw and heard with an exaggerated expression, especially when it came to the explosion of the heavenly tribulation. Qi repeatedly gestured with his hands, trying his best to let the two of them understand how outrageous the pavilion master was. Well, cultivation causes spiritual energy to gather into rivers of spiritual liquid, and also causes heavenly tribulation, and destroys it. Master, is what he said true? That even though she knew how powerful the master was, Leng Yanran was also shocked. She slowly turned her head to look at the master and asked. The river of spiritual fluid must be delicious, the calamity doesn't sound delicious. As for Li Yurong, he only heard the spiritual liquid that he cared about, and Tianjie didn't hear a word of it. Chapter 097 Arrange the task of going down the mountain and transform the jade pendant. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Yu Wei got her name, everyone spent another 2 or 3 days together on the mountain. During this period, Leng Yanran and Li Yurong digested a breakthrough increase in strength. Qi was finally satisfied and completely absorbed and refined the body of the family head. As for Chen Daoxuan, he still drank a pot of enlightenment tea when he woke up. After drinking the tea, he watched the disciples practice and gave some advice. Go back to sleep after you're done. However, Chen Daoxuan was sleeping at this time, but Yu Wei was lying on him almost all the time. But Leng Yanran was so envious that she really wanted to lie on top of her master every day. However, although Yu Wei looks harmless to humans and animals, her strength is far beyond what others can match. According to Master, Yu Wei can even burst into the power of the immortal realm, and despite her small size, in fact, if we count from birth, Yu Wei is the same age as Fang Tiandi. The arc of electricity that flashed across Yu Wei's body inadvertently on weekdays would kill her if she were touched by someone other than Chen Daoxuan. Only Chen Daoxuan can enjoy this happiness, feeling the arc of electricity emitted by Yu Wei from time to time, and sleeping a little more soundly. On this day, Chen Daoxuan called everyone, including Qi Yun, to the pavilion. Qi Yun. Chen Daoxuan took a sip of tea and shouted casually. Young man, if you need anything, just ask the pavilion master. But when Qi Yun heard the pavilion master calling him, he quickly knelt down on one knee, raised his ears respectfully, and waited for instructions with a serious face. It has been some time since he joined Tiandao Pavilion, but he was usually refining the body of Ren family leader on the mountain. Now that the refining has ended, it is time to do something for Tiandao Pavilion. Nowadays, the sects and families in the Northern Territory are in disarray. This time, the master of this pavilion orders you to go down and rectify the Northern Territory. By the way, Yanran's previous location was the Leng family in the Moro Kingdom. You can develop from there. Gather all the forces in the Northern Territory. In the future, our Tiandao Pavilion will protect them from the oppression of vicious beasts, evil cultivators, and even people from outside the territory. But they need to hand over 20% of their income every year. Are you confident that it can be done? After Chen Daoxuan pondered for a moment, he ordered Qi Yun in an orderly manner, since all the treasures of heaven, materials and earth can be exchanged for system points. Although the Northern Territory is a marginal land, a lot of treasures of heaven, materials and earth can be collected in a year. At least hundreds of thousands or even millions of system points can be obtained every year. He did not intend to use force to suppress them. Although 20% was not a small amount for these sects, it must be within the tolerance range, and his Tiandao Pavilion will also provide shelter, and even Qi Yun, a strong man in the infinite realm, will sit in the Northern Territory on weekdays. Don't worry, Pavilion Master. If Qi Yun can't handle what the Pavilion Master ordered, please come and see him. Qi Yun responded confidently, it's just a matter of time in the Northern Territory, but it's still not possible. Not to mention that he, a strong man in the infinite realm, came in person. Even the corpse puppets he left in the ruins realm and even the Nirvana realm in Qiyun Valley were enough to sweep across the northern territory. At that time, if any force is not wise and does not give face to the Pavilion Master and Tiandao Pavilion, Qiyun will not be soft-hearted. After all, he is a corpse cultivator, and he doesn't mind annihilating several sects to absorb flesh and blood to enhance his own strength, so as to better serve Tiandao Pavilion. Well, if that's the case, then go down the mountain. Chen Daoxuan nodded slightly when he saw this. Qiyun stood up respectfully and stepped back, heading straight to the North Territory, remembering the words of the Pavilion Master in his heart. It turns out that my aunt is from the Northern Territory, the Leng family of the Moro Kingdom, so let's go and settle here first. Qiyun's figure continued to flash before he hurried down the mountain. Yanran, Yorong, you two have improved a lot this time, especially Yanran has now reached the Guishu realm, and your strength should be enough to suppress the infinite realm. Before, outside the secret realm, there were forces from the Eastern Territory that wanted to do evil things to the Ren family. It is up to you to resolve this holiday. It just so happens that during this trip to the Eastern region, you two can go to the Holy Mountain, so you can rest assured. Chen Daoxuan touched his chin and looked at his two slim disciples and said softly. Yes, Master. The disciples will personally resolve this holiday for the Ren family. When Leng Yanran heard the master's words, a cold light flashed in her eyes. Even if her master doesn't give orders, she will definitely take action against the Ren family this time when she goes to the eastern region. After all, it was not just for herself, but because the Ren family dared to attack the Tiandao Pavilion disciples, Leng Yanran decided to exterminate them. The Tiandao Pavilion established by the master was not in existence that ants like them could trample on. It will, since you have offended her Tiandao Pavilion, you must be prepared to pour boiling water on the ant nest, shake the egg yolks away, and slap all the dogs that pass by. Okay, Yorong has become so strong. I will definitely scare the elders when I go back. Even my sister will definitely be scared by Yorong. I'm so excited just thinking about it. Li Yorong's eyes lit up. Ever since she was little, she has always been suppressed by her elder sister. Oh no, there is one thing her elder sister can't compare to her. This time when I go back, I have to show it to the elders of the Holy Mountain and my sister. She, Li Yorong, is very strong. Bring the jade pendants you two have, I will add a space formation to them. If we encounter treasures from heaven and earth, or if a kind person gives us a treasure from Tiandao Pavilion, we won't have to separate so many storage bags to pack it. While Chen Daoxuan was thinking for a moment, he suddenly remembered that Yanran had brought back more than 20 storage bags, which was really inconvenient, so he just wanted to help them improve the jade pendant. Thank you, Master. Leng Yanran took off her jade pendant from her neck and handed it over. Here you go. Li Yorong pulled the necklace around his neck, revealing the jade pendant hidden inside, and handed it to the master without any care. Leng Yanran on the side couldn't help but twitching her lips when she saw this. Damn it, another day of envy for my junior sister, this capacity is really enviable. Chen Daoxuan took the disciples' jade pendants in his hands, and there was still a faint milky fragrance and the same temperature as skin on them. On Leng Yanran's jade pendant is the word Leng, Li Yorong's name is. There are also Taoist rhymes that belong to Chen Daoxuan circulating on it from time to time. Both characters are formed from Taoist rhymes. It even has the magical effect of calming the mind and concentration when worn on the body, which can prevent the inner demons from entering the body. With a slight movement of his fingers, Chen Daoxuan carved a space formation inside the jade pendant. He also personally gave 2 jade pendants to each of them. Okay, you two pack up, take some suitable clothes, and go down the mountain. Chen Daoxuan chuckled and nodded with satisfaction. Leng Yanran and Li Yorong penetrated the jade pendants with their spiritual thoughts, wanting to see how much space the master gave them, but after feeling the nearly 1 million cubic meters of space inside, both of them opened their mouths. This, master, is so big. Chapter 098 The Position of Empress Leng Yanran. Stand upright. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ahem, it's better to be bigger, but it will hurt people. Chen Daoxuan couldn't help but cough slightly when he heard what the two said. By the way, you two take this copy of the Great Compassion Mantra for Transcendence. In Tiandao Pavilion, we always pay attention to the beginning and end of everything we do. Chen Daoxuan casually spent another 20 system points to exchange 2 copies of the Great Compassion Curse for Transcendence from the mall, and each person lost 1 copy. Although this low-level transcendence spell, even 1 copy can be used by 2 people to watch and learn together, but 10 system points, he still doesn't pay attention to it now. This time the 2 of them went to the eastern region, and the remnants of the Ren family alone would probably make him another fortune. In addition, after Qi Yun gets everything done in Beiyu, hundreds of thousands or even millions of system points will be credited to the account every year, which is not enough. Transcendence is a big deal. After all, every enemy who died in his hands or in the hands of his disciples was a good person who sacrificed his own life to bring system points. He couldn't help but love him. In his eyes, the closest people in this world, apart from his disciples and the people around him, are the kind people who send him points. Therefore, these great benevolent people must be properly released after death, and then raise their ashes and supplement calcium to the surrounding plants, which can be regarded as helping them accumulate the last few merits. Master, disciple is ready. After a while, the 2 came back from the main hall. Each had brought several pieces of clothing with them. During this period, Chen Daoxuan also spent some system points to exchange several sets of clothing for Yurong and place them in the Lingqi Palace. Go ahead and remember your teacher's instructions. Chen Daoxuan nodded slightly and said no more. Yes, I will take Master's words to heart. Leng Yanran was slightly stunned. Master was reminding her that no one would be left alive, and not even a corpse would be left behind, right? Let's go down the mountain and play. Li Yurong shouted happily and pulled his senior sister down the mountain. For a moment, only Chen Daoxuan and the Wudao tea tree were left in front of the Tiandao Hall. Remember, your own safety must come first in everything. Hey, he ran away before he finished speaking. These 2 disciples are really impatient. Chen Daoxuan was lying on the wicker chair of enlightenment. After muttering in his mouth, he found that the 2 disciples had long disappeared. He shook his head and stopped thinking about it, and fell asleep. From Shuwu Mountain in the northern region to the eastern region, the 2 of them were not in a hurry, especially since Li Yurong had never seen much of the scene down the mountain. Along the way, the 2 of them hurriedly walked around, fearing that they would have to walk for more than half a month to get there. As for Qi Yun, in less than half a day, they had arrived at the Leng family in the Moro Kingdom. Leng family, meeting hall. Senior, you said you were sent by Yanran's master. I wonder what the senior's orders are. The head of the family had a Cold War, stood respectfully aside, and asked Qi Yun on the main seat. Ever since Leng Yanran suppressed the Luo Tianzong that day, although they have lost contact with the Leng family has still benefited a lot. In the Moro Kingdom, they have been treated like a royal family. Even the emperor of the Moro Kingdom, Wu Feiyang, had to discuss many important matters with the Leng family. What the Lord Pavilion wants to do is not for us servants to ask. Why hasn't the emperor of Moro Kingdom arrived yet? Qi Yun was too lazy to explain, but for the sake of his eldest aunt, he was not too rude to the Leng family. With his immeasurable realm, he has no problem sweeping across the northern territory, let alone waiting for a mere emperor in this small Moro Kingdom. The emperor of Moro Kingdom, Wu Feiyang, has met Senior Qianzi. Just when Qi Yun was a little dissatisfied and even planned to go directly to the palace to capture him, a deep voice came. Wu Feiyang straightened his back, walked into the hall, and bowed his hands respectfully to Qi Yun on the main seat. Qi Yunzi is dead. I am Qi Yun, a handyman of Tiandao Pavilion. Qi Yun raised his eyebrows slightly and corrected his call. Yes, I have met Senior Qi Yun. I don't know why Senior came to this tiny place like Moro country. I will definitely try my best to help. Wu Feiyang did not dare to assert his identity in front of Qi Yun. After all, this was a powerful person in the infinite realm who could sweep across the northern territory. After hearing his words, Qi Yun touched his chin and began to think deeply. Although the Pavilion Master simply told him to gather the entire northern territory forces, he did not give him a detailed plan. I guess it was a test for him. In this case, he must do the things ordered by the Pavilion Master beautifully. The Pavilion Master is like a fairy. He should no longer care about fame and fortune. Using his reputation to gather these forces simply lowers the status of the Pavilion Master. But it would not be appropriate to use Qi Yun's own name to conquer the Northern Territory. Yes. My eldest aunt is from the Northern Territory, so why not just use my aunt's name? Qi Yun's eyes lit up, and he finally thought of a solution that had both ends. Not only can we win over the Northern Territory in the name of my aunt, but the Pavilion Master will also be happy because the disciple's reputation spreads across the Northern Territory. It's perfect, simply perfect. Qi Yun immediately had an idea in his mind. From now on, the Northern Territory will be taken over by Leng Yanran, the personal descendant of the Master of Tiandao Pavilion. Respected as the Empress of the Northern Territory, from now on, you can enjoy the protection of my Tiandao Pavilion by turning over 20% of the heavenly materials and earthly treasures every year. You will immediately notify all the third-rate and above sect forces in the Northern Territory as well as the capital. Qi Yun's expression was extremely serious, and he announced to the Leng family and Wu Feiyang who were present. For a moment, everyone present was stunned at first, and then everyone in the Leng family was overjoyed. Even though Leng Yanran had no contact with the Leng family, other aristocratic families did not know about this relationship. If Leng Yanran becomes the Empress of the Northern Territory, wouldn't the Leng family be the largest family in the Northern Territory? Don't worry, sir, my Leng family will take care of it right away. Before Wu Feiyang could answer, Cold War took the lead and knelt down on one knee to answer. Do you have any opinion? After Qi Yun nodded and let Cold War leave, he looked at Wu Feiyang who had not spoken yet and asked. This. No, I don't have any objections to this, Junior. It's just that although the strength of the Northern Territory is not strong, the forces are mixed. I'm afraid this matter won't be recognized by everyone, right? After Wu Feiyang pondered for a moment, he expressed his opinion. If Leng Yanran proclaimed himself emperor, he, the emperor of the Moro Kingdom, would actually benefit from it, so he would naturally not refuse. Humph, this is not something you need to worry about. Although I am just an inconspicuous handyman in Tiandao Pavilion, in this northern region, Qi Yun snorted coldly and made up his mind. He must handle this matter beautifully and not damage the face of Tiandao Pavilion. If someone doesn't open his eyes, he can only say sorry and use the Book of Salvation given by the Pavilion Master. Scripture. As a result, Leng Yanran, who was rushing to the eastern region with her junior sister, established the position of Empress of the northern region without her knowing it at all. Chapter 099 In the next life, be careful. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the Leng family and the Moro Kingdom spread the news about Qi Yun to various forces in the Northern Territory through various channels, for a time, the entire Northern Territory was boiling because of this incident. Establish a female emperor and take charge of the entire Northern Territory. Although Leng Yanran has extraordinary talents, in terms of cultivation, I remember that she is only at the 7th level of Tongxuan realm, right? Even the current heads of the 3 major sects in the Northern Territory, with the strength of the Nirvana realm, would not dare to say such words. Fellow Taoist, be careful what you say, be careful what you say, that cold demon will destroy the whole family, be careful of causing trouble. Not to mention, the person who brought the news this time is a powerful person from the infinite realm. We in the Northern Territory can't stand it. Various forces in the Northern Territory were talking about it. Qi Yun only gave them 3 days to express their stance. On the first day, no sect spoke. Jinding sect. Sect Master, let's stop being such a pushover. If the sect Master is the first to agree, wouldn't it destroy all the majesty our Jinding sect has established in the Northern Territory over the years? Yes, sect Master, even if we agree to establish Leng Yanran as Empress, we can wait for other forces to speak first and pretend to be hesitant for a long time. Yes, if possible, maybe we can hold on until later and talk about it. Maybe we can reduce the annual tax from 20% to 10%. Listening to the chattering words of many elders, Master Yangchun frowned. Shut up. Have you forgotten how Luo Tianzong disappeared? Do as this sect leader says and declare your position today to respect Leng Yanran as the Empress of the Northern Territory. Master Yangchun got tired of hearing this and shouted angrily, shocking everyone so much that they dared not speak any more. If you want to negotiate, you must have the corresponding strength, now let alone Qi Yun who was in the infinite realm. Even if Leng Yanran showed up, it would be enough to easily wipe out their Jinding sect. Only Master Yangchun, who had witnessed the tragic situation of Luo Tianzong, knew the horror of Leng Yanran. That's okay. For a time, many of the elders present did not dare to raise any objections. After all, Master Yangchun of Jinding sect had the final say. Everyone was unhappy, but they still conveyed the message honestly. The Jinding sect respects Leng Yanran as the Empress from now on, and is willing to pay 20% of taxes every year to seek the Empress protection. As soon as the news about Jinding sect spread, it immediately caused a sensation. Many forces did not expect that the first one to bow their heads would be one of the three major sects. At the same time, those small forces that were originally attached to Jinding sect also expressed their respect for the position of Empress. This also made many other small forces begin to hesitate. Pavilion Temple, I wish to respect the position of the Empress, pay taxes, and gain the Empress protection. After Jinding Zong expressed his position in the morning, Abbot Kongkai of Pavilion Temple made his decision in the afternoon. For a time, two of the three major sects in the Northern Territory had recognized the position of Empress and were willing to pay 20% of the tax. By the end of the second day, nearly half of the forces in the Northern Territory expressed their respect for Leng Yanran's position as Empress. The rest all want to see the decision of Hongguang sect, one of the three major sects. Halfway through the third day, Hongguang sect still did not express its position. During this period, another 20% of the sects and the capital expressed their willingness to respect the position of Empress, the Leng family. Sir, now 70% of the forces in the Northern Territory have expressed their stance. What should we do with the remaining 30%? Cold War came to the hall and asked Qi Yun quietly with his eyes closed. 30%. Is there a leader among them? Qi Yun slowly opened his eyes, and a trace of displeasure flashed across his face. In his opinion, the fact that the Northern Territory can rely on the Pavilion Master's Tiandao Pavilion is a gift from God. There are still a full 30% of people who don't know how to commend themselves. If this matter cannot be solved to the satisfaction of the Pavilion Master, and he will be angered, that will not be fun. Although there is no leader, most of the 30% are watching the Hongguang sect's decision. Now among the three major sects, only the Hongguang sect has not expressed its stance. If this problem can be solved, the other sects should not be entangled anymore. Before Cold War came to report, he had understood the news clearly and gave his own suggestions. Hongguang sect, lead the way for me. I want to see how many lives this Hongguang sect person has. Qi Yun stood up straight away, took Qing directly to him and asked him to point out the direction, then flew straight to Hongguang sect in the air at high speed. Hongguang sect, the main hall of the sect. Sect Master, there is only the last half hour left. Are we really not going to express our position? I think it's better to announce the agreement to the public as soon as possible, otherwise we may not be able to bear the consequences. Yes, Sect Master, the 20% tax is a lot, but it is not unacceptable. Many elders looked worried and urged them very worriedly. Don't panic, everyone, there's still half an hour. As one of the three major sects of the Hongguang sect, we still have some say in the Northern Territory. Based on my guess, the other party will definitely come to notify us in person. At that time, we can take the opportunity to negotiate. Even if we don't reach an agreement, we will still pay 20% of the tax in the end, which will be beneficial and harmless to our Hongguang sect. This time, Jinding sect and Pavilion Temple were the first to express their stance, showing their cowardice, but our Hongguang sect was able to persist until the end. In the future, among the many forces in the Northern Territory, we, the Hongguang sect, will definitely be the leader of the three major sects. A flash of light flashed in the eyes of the leader of the Hongguang sect, and he calmly analyzed the current situation. However, from the traces of sweat on his forehead, it is not difficult to see that he is still a little nervous. While everyone was waiting nervously. Ants, get out, A voice of dissatisfaction reached the ears of everyone in the Hongguang sect. Under the roar of the powerful man in the infinite realm, all the disciples whose cultivation level was lower than the Tongxuan realm felt dizzy and were shaken to the point of losing consciousness. Broken. Sect Master, we're here, that the elders in the hall were instantly panicked. But only the sect leader's eyes lit up. Everyone, isn't this opportunity coming? Even if the negotiation fails later, our Hongguang sect can still issue a statement. Follow me, don't panic, that the sect master's words fell on the ears of many elders, which indeed made them feel a little calmer, but they were still nervous and followed the sect master out of the hall. Not long after, everyone arrived at the square. Qiyun was suspended above the square, looking down at the group of ants that were making things difficult for him, with a very dissatisfied look on his face. We've been waiting for you for a long time. Don't be impatient, senior. Come and have a cup of tea and let's talk. Feeling the terrifying pressure of the infinite realm, the sect leader wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and said respectfully. I'm talking about you. What is your identity, and what is my identity? I am a handyman of Tiandao Pavilion. Are you worthy of talking to me? But when Qiyun heard what the other party said, he became even more unhappy. Originally, if the Hongguang sect had some difficulties or encountered trouble, he would just leave it alone, but it seemed that Hongguang sect was waiting for him on purpose. How dare an ant play tricks on him? This matter is the fault of our Hongguang sect. Don't be angry, senior. We are willing to respect the position of Empress. Senior, please sit down. When everyone heard Qiyun's words, they immediately panicked. The sect leader held on to his courage and said, reaching into his arms and taking out the notice that had been prepared long ago. No need, in the next life, be careful. Chapter 100 The Imperial Seal Rewarding Merit. There is a surprise in this chapter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the third day, all the forces in the Northern Territory were no longer divided. As for the three major sects, only two major sects are left. Hongguang sect completely disappeared in the Northern Territory. I'm afraid you don't know, but that master of the infinite realm is actually a Buddhist monk. I was not far from Hongguang sect that day. Although I didn't see clearly what happened, I heard bursts of chanting from Hongguang sect, and there was even a faint appearance of Buddha's light. Perhaps, the Hongguang sect was influenced by the great Buddha of the infinite realm, and moved out of the Northern Territory out of guilt. In a tea house, while drinking, several monks talked about the mysterious disappearance of the Hongguang sect. Oh. But why, when the Hongguang sect moved, the mountains were leveled? Could it be that they were taken away together? Today I went to Hongguang sect to find out the results, but I found that Hongguang sect has been completely reduced to the ground, not even a hair was seen. Another person answered, the entire Northern Territory was abuzz with discussions about the Hongguang sect. Only in Payuan Temple, Abbot Kongkai sighed when he heard the chanting of sutras from the Hongguang sect and a faint appearance of Buddha's light. These people still don't know what that person's methods are. It's not like they have been converted. It's clear that the whole sect has been saved, that he was outside the secret realm at the beginning, but he was caught by that adult and helped to achieve salvation. Could it be unclear? Leng family. After absorbing the blood and energy of the Hongguang sect, it didn't improve much. Hey, it's a pity that the remaining sects have bowed their heads, otherwise they might be able to break through to the next level. The Pavilion Master is really a kind man. If it weren't for the Pavilion Master's instructions, I wouldn't bother to give them salvation. After Qiyun finished practicing, he opened his blood-red eyes. Fortunately, my aunt's position as Empress has been fully recognized by the Northern Territory, and all forces will pay 20% of the tax every year. The task given by the Pavilion Master this time must be considered a success. Thinking of this, Qiyun finally showed a satisfied expression. However, he is not in a hurry to return to the mountain, but instead sits in the northern region. Every year, the major forces pay 20% of the tax, in exchange for the protection of him, a strong man in the infinite realm, who sits in the Northern Territory. If he can't handle it, Tiandao Pavilion will solve it. As for the Hongguang sect that was wiped out in the process, Qiyun didn't care. Whose fist is the truth in this world? even if he had escaped from the secret realm according to his original plan, the first thing he would do would be to sacrifice and absorb all the creatures in the entire Northern Territory. Compared to the Pavilion Master who only collects taxes and provides shelter, it can be said that the Pavilion Master is already too tolerant. In front of the Temple of Heaven, Chen Dao, now that Qi Yun has joined Tiandao Pavilion, he will also receive rewards for killing enemies. In Chen Daoxuan's view, it was normal for one or two sects to sacrifice their lives in the rectification of the Northern Territory, and there was nothing wrong with Qi Yun's methods, but when a prompt sounded, Chen Daoxuan was a little confused. Ding! The host's great disciple Leng Yanran has been appointed as the Empress of the Northern Territory. The magic weapon of merit, Emperor's Seal, 10,000 system points. Empress of the Northern Territory. Didn't Yanran go to the Eastern region? How did the Empress of the Northern region come here? Hiss, couldn't it be Qi Yun who did it? Chen Daoxuan pondered for a moment and faintly sensed the location of the two disciples' jade pendants. They had indeed gone to the Eastern Territory and did not stop in the Northern Territory. After casually taking out the Imperial seal and examining it for a moment, Chen Daoxuan lost interest and temporarily put it away, planning to give it to Leng Yanran when she returned to the mountain. Both are magic weapons of merit, but compared with his Hongmeng ruler, this Emperor's seal is simply a world of difference, which makes him uninterested at all. As for what happened to the position of Empress, we will have to wait and see when Qi Yun returns to the mountain to find out more. Anyway, he was rewarded with 10,000 system points, which made his sleep even sweeter. Half a month passed in a blink of an eye. The news that a female emperor suddenly appeared in the Northern Territory spread like wildfire. Even the Eastern Territory and the Western Territory adjacent to the Northern Territory were talking about it. Senior sister, aren't you from the Northern Territory? How can anyone dare to claim the title of Emperor or Empress in the Northern Territory? To be honest, only senior sister is worthy of the position of Empress of the Northern Territory. But don't worry, senior sister. When we return to the Northern Territory, I will help you beat up the guy who dares to call the Empress. At this time, Leng Yanran and Li Yurong had arrived in the Eastern region. After hearing the rumored news, Li Yurong waved his little fist angrily and said, "It doesn't matter, the Empress of the Northern Territory is just a clown. Do you know where the Ren family is? It's more important to take care of Master's matters first." Leng Yanran's face was expressionless, not caring at all that someone in the Northern Territory dared to call herself Empress, and there was a hint of disdain in her tone. Yurong has never been down the mountain on weekdays. He can't find the Ren family. Why don't we go find a restaurant first and have a good meal of roast chicken, roast duck, roast goose, braised pork? Well, the main reason is that you can find out news about the Ren family in the restaurant. Sister, what do you think? As Li Yurong spoke, he drooled unsatisfactorily. He blinked and looked at his senior sister and asked expectantly. Why? Just say so when you're hungry. Well, this is indeed a solution, let's go. Leng Yanran slapped her forehead helplessly. How could she not see Yurong's plan? But not to mention, Yurong seems to be slowly getting smarter since practicing the techniques given by his master. Although she was obviously hungry and gluttonous at the moment, it was not easy for her to think of going to a restaurant to inquire about news. It didn't take long for the two of them to find a place in the city and choose a restaurant. Even though Leng Yanran's face was covered with gauze, there were still many pairs of eyes staring straight at her along the way. Leng Yanran simply exuded a strong evil aura. Even if those people were lustful, no one dared to get close to her. After all, the desire to survive still defeated Say. Boss, give us the menu. As soon as he entered the store, Li Yurong waved his hand and shouted. Okay, fairies, this is our menu, please take a look. The waiter saw that both of them were extraordinary and must be cultivators. If he greeted them well, a reward of a spiritual stone would be more than his salary in several years. No need to look at it. Didn't I tell you, go to the menu and order one of everything on the menu? Li Yurong did not pick up the menu, but repeated. He even looked at the waiter with an idiotic expression, feeling that he was not very smart. Just do as she said. Apart from the meal money, I will reward you with everything else. Seeing this, Leng Yanran rubbed her temples helplessly. then took out a spirit stone from the storage space and threw it over. PS. Point 3 chapters presented. It's been 24 days since the book was published, and it's already 100 chapters. It is expected that I will write more than 1,000 chapters. Some parts may be written a little slower. Readers, please forgive me, this book will still be updated, and it won't be too unique, so you can read it with confidence. If you like this book, you might as well click on the author's homepage and give it a follow. Thanks, Arc Boss, for the character summons. Inspiration capsule from the boss of Didingimiao. Thank you readers for your big gifts and reminders, I love you. At last, drawn by my prune mint bagel baby. Nabla, wow.